Welcome guys, I have a treat for you today. Today we're going to learn an easy way to put our rear trunnion together, how to rivet our rear trunnion together. And this, like I said, I found on Toth Tool. And you might be thinking, especially you guys who have not built an AK yet, what weird nonsense is this? Well, this weird nonsense is going to allow you to rivet your rear trunnion on your kitchen table. Now, the point of my whole videos has been to get people to get armed themselves, to trust themselves, and to fundamentally not know that it's very hard to build an AK. Now, when I started building, people made it seem like it was so difficult, and I kind of resented that, so I want y'all to get armed yourself and sharpen your skills and trust yourself, know yourself, and arm yourself. So here we go. We got this tool, and I have it set up in the way that you'll use it because I want you guys to understand how to use it. Now, first of all, I want to show you that I do have my receiver right here. As you see, the front trunnions, it's not going nowhere, it's in. I have my FCG, my fire control group, out, and I have the safety on. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, why do you have the safety on? And I also have the scope rail on. Well, there's two reasons for that. One is I want to show you that because we're going to be smashing these two rivets in, I want to show you that A, if you do, not to fear that if you do have your scope rail in, it'll still work. And I want you to show how it works with non. Now, it does work the same, but it's not completely evident when you look at this exactly how it works. So let me show you. These two screws up here are, well, we'll get to that. Let's step back a little bit. Okay. This, on the very bottom, is a free-flowing steel part. Now, as you see, this has a top for the rivet head. Now, you're going to place that on the top of your rivet, like so, and put it up here. Now, when I see guys doing this on videos and what have you, and there are other ways to do it, but this is the easiest way, and the way you can do on a kitchen table without having an air gun. But you can do this with when you put in your, let me back up a second. When you put in your rear trunnion rivets to fit it before we rivet it in, I want you to know that the right way to do it, especially when you're putting in your side scope, because it's not that hard, there's no reason not to do it, and it's not an expensive part, is to put the rivets in from the, this is the ejector side, you put it from the operator side in. That means the rivet heads will be on the operator side, the side with the safety, and the bottom pieces will be on the the ejector side. So the top of the rivet, operator side, bottom of the rivet, ejector side. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we place the rivet head like so. And when you first get this tool, you'll have to put it together, but as you see, it's not very hard. You put the 4 pieces in, you put the bottom in. I have it in a vise because I always want to keep movement at a way where I can control it, adds more mass to it. And you also want to use pressure grease, extreme pressure grease, when you do this to increase the longevity of the tool. Now that I have that lined up, there's a part that comes with this tool. You see the bottom of this, how it's full? See this side? You put this bottom through this hole, and you remember that the rivet head is on the bottom, on that free-floating part, and all you do is simply line it up with this, like so. And I missed, so maybe you guys can have a laugh, but I'm gonna get it done for you. In fact, you guys probably could do a better view, but I'm just explaining how it works. We're going to do it in a moment. Now, Isn't that easy? I didn't even have to stop the video player. Okay, so we have this lined up. Now I will use whatever I have to keep it stable while I do it. Not very necessary, but you know, we only have 2 hands. So once we have that lined up, what we do is we put excuse me, messed up looking at the camera. But you put these 2 on the side right here. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this force to press down on it. And that force, that downward force, will break up the rivets. So let's get it done, guys. Okay, gentlemen, so I ratcheted them down so we have pressure. Now, I'm sure you guys didn't want to see me ratchet for a whole 2 minutes, so we make sure it's all in place. Nothing's gonna fall out. Our vise is tight, and this is tight. This is tight. It's at the point where we need to ratchet it down, and that's where we're gonna do it together. So let's get her done. 1. And switch to the next. 2. Oops. See Daisy, and whenever that happens, guys, make sure that everything's lined up. Okay, we don't want this to move. We want everything to stay in perfect alignment. And after you ratchet, if you feel anything different, check it. But, you know, at this point, I'm probably being overly careful. And there's 1. There's 2. There's 1. There's 2. Each, I shouldn't be covering it, I'm sorry, gentlemen, but each one is pushing farther and farther in. You guys are going to have to deal with my hand. And it is crushing our rivet for it. I feel the pushback from it. And we're going to get this done. Now, if you guys look, you'll see that thing going down. That is what is crushing our rivet. Right there, it's that steel piece inside that goes inside the screw to the bottom. But no more bullshit talk. Let's get it done. So, yeah. At first, when I was thinking about getting into AK building, I thought we needed lots of tools and lots of space. And then, as I was looking into the how to get it done, I ran into these tools from tothtool.com, which allowed me to do it from my kitchen, from my dining room table to be more exact, and make sure this vise is tightened completely. It's no hurt in tightening a little more. And that is all lined up perfectly, and we're going to continue on with our work, gentlemen. Ooh, yeah. Crunch. More crunch. We love to make the rivets go crunch. That resistance that you feel when you ratchet it, that's love. That is love from the tool, and love from your AK for getting her built. And guys, it looks like that rivet is getting squashed. So we'll continue. And you want to make sure you keep it even, gentlemen. This is pretty much the crucial part about this one tool, is you want to make sure what you're doing is even. If you give a quarter turn on one, give a quarter turn on the next. And as you can see, the tool is really portable. Tighten that vise a little more. We might be done here. Alright, got a little way to go. It doesn't get more easier than this. And you know what? I was close to giving up and just buying at 74 until I ran across these tools, and they started me on a journey of building my own rifles. Now, I don't really care for any rifle unless I built it my own, because really, why use something made in a factory when you can build it yourself? I don't see why you would. I'm sure you guys understand. I'm sure many of your ancestors built their own swords, just like you were building your own rifle. And I'm just giving the few extra crushes that make sure we're done. I'm really trying not to obscure your guys' view. Alright guys, it seems like we might be done here. Let's take a look. Now before we see our finished product, I wanted you guys to just see a top view of how it gets set up. You see this bottom piece right here? We put that right on such, all nicely lined up. And where did that big screw go? And we place this up top, right on top, and I find that a bit easier when getting it lined up to do it that way, rather than to mess around with putting the big screw on first, and you screw it down until you see, in the way I do it, I make sure that longer than the length of what we have to crush down is apparent on this steel bar up here. And I pretty much go as much as I can down, because it also helps line things up. And then I take this right here, I put that up in the middle, and I set up the other two screws right here and here, and then I begin ratcheting. Alright, let's take it. I'm just going to complete the same process that we just went through, and let's take a look at our finished product. Okay, gentlemen, let's look at our finished product. The rear trunnion. Ba-bam. Ba-bam. That is nicely riveted in, and it only took us a few minutes. Now, a quick note. The reason why I used this tool instead of this one is because the rivets for the rear trunnion are this large. It goes all the way across. Now, I did use this for the front trunnion, and also I did use this to put in the rivet for the first rivet for the scope rail right here. Anyways, gentlemen, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know below. Keep on building, build that rifle, no excuses.